Hello friends, we have Anuraj Jain out here. He has secured rank 24 with psychology optional. We'll start with his introduction.
Hello everyone, my name is Anuraj Jain. I have scored All India rank 24 in my second attempt. In the last attempt I could not qualify with a margin of 4 marks. So my optional is psychology. I am currently in Indian Forest Service. Last year I scored All India rank 21 in Indian Forest Service, and this was my second attempt. I am an engineer from BITS Pilani from 2010 to 2014, and after that I had worked for 2 years, and then I had quit my job and then started full-time preparation.
So last year was a very surprising year. You got a Forest Service rank and you could not qualify UPSC.
Yes.
So how did you take it?
I think I was little till the time marks had come, so I was little confident last year that I would have got a rank because my general studies score was pretty good and I had good confidence in optional also. But in the end, when marks came out, I fell short by 4 marks, and in essay I scored a little less. So I had very clear strategy this time that I have to work a little more on essay and optional, and GS I have to maintain the similar score whatever it is. And I was confident this time that if I work in the similar manner, I think I'll qualify the exam.
Okay, so you're the first person from your family to get into service?
Yes, I am a Jain, and so mostly everyone is into business. So I am the first one in my entire family who is into services.
Okay, so you qualified prelims 2 years consecutively.
Yes.
How has been your scores in prelims?
In 2017, I scored 130 marks in prelims, and last year I scored 136 marks in preliminary.
You're a Forest Service?
Yes. So last year also I scored 136, and I think these are one of the very good scores.
Very good scores. So what is the strategy for prelims?
In prelims, my strategy, what generally people don't do is that I do group study in the last. People and the entire revision in of all the subjects is done in the last 10 days. I think it helps a lot because all the information which is there comes into working memory, as we say in psychology. So I think that helps a lot in the exam. So I think the preliminary is basically two parts. It's memory management and stress management. So memory management I could do because I just focus on limited sources and a lot of revision. So memory wise it's fine. On the stress management part, I'll focus on physical exercise a lot. So even on the day before prelims or even during the mains exam, I regularly go for a run, a jog, and I think that keeps the stress level down.
So you have applied your psychology strategy in your prelims?
I think psychology has helped me, very much in the entire journey, whatever is for the last 31 months. Even in preparing my daily plan or keeping me motivated, keeping a positive attitude, not believing too much in luck. I think everything was taught by psychology.
Okay. So current affairs for prelims, what do you do? What was your strategy?
Actually, rank 3 in 2016, Jasmeet Singh Sandhu sir came and told that as a newcomer, you cannot really understand newspapers for first 4-5 months because you are not aware with the basics of polity, economics. So he suggested just get in touch with that and then you can probably start newspapers in the initial 4 months. So I think this is contrary to what others say. I didn't read newspapers in the initial 4 months, but after that I focused in the monthly module of Vision IAS. It comes, whatever the monthly magazine comes. So I read it multiple number of times, and somehow that helped me a lot in compiling current affairs. But in the mains exam, I used to read newspapers religiously in the interview and mains. For prelims, I mostly focused on the monthly magazine of Vision.
Okay. So solving a lot of test papers before prelims, what was your strategy?
In the first attempt, I had solved around 50 papers, but in the second attempt, since very less time was there, so I solved around 2 or 3 papers only. But one thing that I would like to advise people is we should just not focus on solving number of papers, because as we know, around 3 lakh questions are there for the prelims and not one will be repeated in the final UPSC examination. So whenever you are attempting question, the focus should be to develop a thinking habit of attempting the exam rather than gaining knowledge out of the papers. So, and whatever mistakes are there, I think around 30 sentences you can write on the back of the whatever question paper is there, so that whenever you have to revise that thing, it goes on very fast and smoothly, because generally what people will do, they'll do 50 papers, but in the end they'll end up not revising any of them.
They'll be back to square one.
Yes, so that won't help a lot. So this I think people can do. Whatever error is there, they can note in one line at the around 30-40 errors are there, or if you get any new information, that can be written in the back of the
Kind of an error book.
Yes, kind of an error book.
Okay. And how many questions do you usually attempt for prelims?
In prelims, my sweet spot was around 90 questions, and while giving test, I noticed that I'll get around 120 marks in after attempting 90 questions. So that strategy even continued in the main final exam. So because revision was strong, so marks increased by 15 marks in the last attempt. So I attempted 90 questions.
So in the test series, you identify the range at which your performance peaks.
Yes. So
and then you followed that for prelims.
Yes.
Okay. So moving on to mains, you had very good scores in GS in last year and this year also. What is your score in GS this year?
This year I have scored 452 marks in the GS papers combined.
That's among the top 5 scores.
I think it's among the top 5 scores this year.
So any strategy specifically?
What differently I did this year was all the topics which are given in the main syllabus, I had every topic I had noted down on a single sheet of paper, and whatever material I used to get for that topic, I used to note it down in that sheet. For example, NGO is there in paper 2. So I used to give a heading of NGO, and whatever relevant material I am getting about NGO, I used to write down on that sheet of paper. So this was done across all the papers.
All the keywords.
All the keywords whatever are there. So whenever any answer that used to, and I had revised my notes multiple number of times. So for example, I used to write down any SDGs are there, or any constitution articles relating to that topic.
That particular keyword.
Yes, or any second ARC has said something about it. So all these things I noted in a consolidated manner.
So did you think of an introduction for these keywords in advance?
No, I didn't think of an introduction. That would be usually by defining it or giving some data fact. And this data fact also was written in that same sheet.
Same sheet. How bulky was this sheet?
I think 1/2 A4 for each subject.
Okay.
So
that's very concise.
Very concise. So I could just, whenever any question used to come for that particular topic, I could recall all the keywords. Any value addition material was there.
Anudeep came here and said that you make notes of what you can write in your answers.
Yes.
This is exactly that.
Exactly. So if in newspaper I used to get any line for international relations, that was very relevant. So I used to write down in the IR section, and that I could reproduce in the exam. 2-3 questions I could use 2-3 lines. So that was my main thing which I improved from last year.
Any specific strategy from paper 2, paper 3 in answer writing?
In paper 2 and paper 3, I always believe that whatever the amount of what everyone suggests, that in paper 2, if you are writing about committees, you are writing about second ARC, you are writing about constitutional articles, you are linking it with current affairs, you can, so this will help you gain a more single mark more than what others are writing in general. In paper 3, it's more of statistics, whatever people are reports and facts and figures, like agriculture, horticulture is 1.5% of GDP, something like that. So that was my main focus. And one more thing what I think people don't follow is that they'll attempt 15 questions very good. In the last 5 questions, they'll probably attempt in 20 minutes. So I think that entire justice is not done with each of the questions.
So what is your strategy, or what would you advise?
So my strategy is that I start from question 1 and go till question 20. So in that process, I keep a digital watch in front of me, and it's for 10 marker I keep 7.5 minutes, and for 15 marker I'll keep 10.5 minutes.
Irrespective of how much content you have.
Yes. So I think that usually, so I don't have a fight of time for finishing my answers. So I do a justice with at least 19 questions or 18 questions, which others probably might not do. And I end up getting 8 or 10 marks more than what others get, and multiply it by 4. So I think a gap of 40 marks is
40
created.
marks. So point format versus paragraph format.
I used to solely focus on point format. So my general thing was that if a 10 marker is there, somehow I'll create 9 to 10 points. And if 15 marker is there, I'll create 13-14 points. which are not that difficult if you are comfortable with the content.
And if you're breaking the questions into parts.
Yes, and if we are breaking the questions into part, taking the headings from the questions itself and writing 2-3 points, 2-3 pros, 2-3 cons if critically analyzed, and then give a logical conclusion, something like that.
Use of maps, diagrams, schematics.
This I think I have done it, but not in every question. I think in 4 or 5 questions I have used wherever it was very relevant.
In paper 3.
Paper 3, paper 2, paper 1.
IR, geography.
Yes. But in paper 4 I did not even make single diagram. I think marks were also pretty good, so I did not focus.
What's the marks in paper 4?
I think it was 116.
116. That's a very good score.
Yes. So not even a single diagram I made in paper 4. So I think diagrams should be used, but not in excess. If you are, I was little comfortable more in writing the answers rather than thinking on how to draw a diagram. So this was my general strategy.
Any particular ideas for ethics? How to make ethics answers more interesting?
What I did this time that somehow if, for example, a question on administration is coming, so I saw the something on character had come. So in Lavasana this Sheelam Param Bhushanam is written. So I used very simple quotes like that. Or if something is related to Supreme Court or Justice, so there is the motto like Dharmo Rakshati Rakshita, so something like that, very simple quotes which are very relevant. Or something related to police, then Satya Seva Nyaya, something like that. So these things I used, and I think again what differently I did that people generally will delve more into case studies, they will try to devote more time. But again remember that part A is also equally important as case studies. So
more predictable.
Huh?
More predictable in terms of?
More predictable and in terms of marks also. The people will probably, give more than half of the time of 3 hours into case studies and little less time in part A. So again that justice part is not done. So I used to devote almost equal part in both the parts.
So it's a judicial use of space and time.
Yes.
So case studies, any interesting approach?
No, I did not do anything. Nothing.
Introductions?
Introduction, yes, whatever was the most relevant thing, like I was telling that if something is related to say justice thing is, so I'll start with this small Sanskrit, whatever these mottos are there. So that will give an appropriate, beginning that yes, this is my thought of.
Context is set.
This is my context. So like that I started my answer, and then whatever the decision I am taking, I used to write that the main reason for choosing such a stance, so I used to mention it in points. So this was my strategy for case studies.
Okay. Moving on to essay. You had a bad score in essay last year and this year also.
Yes.
So you did a lot of things for this year's essay.
Yes. So last year if my selection was not there, it was probably that I scored very poorly in essay. And this year I was pretty confident that I'll write a strategy for essay, that how to improve marks. But unfortunately I got very less marks in essay this year as well. So I think probably I am not in a, I cannot judge why it went very bad.
You were earlier saying that you would have been happy if 30 marks from psychology was given to essay.
Yes, so I would have been the happiest person that whatever, after seeing the GS breakup for first year, whatever I had thought, it had fallen in line to increase wherever possible. But somehow it didn't happen this year. And I think after coming from the essay paper, I was very happy that
confident.
And very confident that yes, I did a pretty good job. Whatever I studied for the essay, whatever test series at Forum I did, and whatever I did, it worked well in the end. But somehow it didn't fructify.
It did not convert into marks.
Yes, so I think it's unpredictable service commission. Let's take that.
So psychology, you are the topper this year.
Yes.
And I think, if I'm not wrong, maybe all-time topper also.
Probably the data I have points out to the same.
Points out to the same.
Yes.
What different thing have you done from last year to this year?
So what different I did from last year is that I attended Pathak sir's class in psychology. And I relied more on his, whatever he taught me. And I did not give adequate, reading to NCRTs, I think, which costed me a lot. I just gave the general content what other people wrote. So my answers were not differentiated. So after I got 267 marks, which was pretty, not very good, not very bad. It was just okay marks. So this year I did a test series under the topper of last year. On Telegram he's there, everyone would be aware. So he gave me a gave me an approach of writing answers. So I think I improved my approach of writing the answers. Last year, like, I did not incorporate real life examples while writing the psychology
Case study
answer.
approach.
Case study approach is there. For example, if any question comes on women empowerment, I take an example of a woman named, say, X, and then I connect it with psychological terminologies, like how is she not motivated, how her attitude, she has an external locus of control, she is relatively deprived. So all this terminology in terms of a case study, I used to attempt the answer. And in that thing, I, impresses the examiner, because other people will write very generalistic statements. So I think that approach helped me.
You brought in the keywords.
Yes.
And paper 2, anything different?
I think in paper 2, again, it's more of an applied part of psychology. So as much as, real life examples we can give to substantiate our answers or to explain the concepts. So I think drawing diagrams in our the textbook Smarak Swin, many diagrams are given, which are very good.
You use color pencils to draw
Yes,
diagrams?
wherever there was a possibility, I used some color pencils. To
I think the Forest Service hangover.
Yes, so color pencils to draw the boundary of. It's not like map, just 2 or 3 places, just to distinguish it from general other answers. So that was my overall approach for psychology. So main thing is to incorporate, read NCERT, and also I did a lot of internet research. For example, many topics in the syllabus I do not find in the books or in notes of Pathak sir. So I have to read it more on the internet. I have to search research papers, and they are very technical, but we just have to take out whatever is of our relevance, and if we can incorporate that into our answers, again in a very concise format. All the 28 chapters I had again made very crisp and concise notes.
So you will upload this on a later date?
I think if it is helpful, I can upload. I have no issues.
It should definitely help. There will be a lot of students who will be benefiting from this.
Yes, I'll upload it, no issues.
Okay. So that's the summary of your psychology approach.
Yes.
Interview, what did you do different this year?
Interview, I think in last time I had scored 165 and this year I had scored 171. I think last year and this year, both the times I could have scored little more marks, but I think I could not do justice, initially to the answers of questions of the chairman, whosoever the chairperson was. So I think that could have been, if that would have been a little better, because initially I could not get in a flow just after entering the room. So I think that was the only thing which gave me a little less marks. Otherwise it went well. Whatever my DAF was there, I read it thoroughly, and again forest service, whatever keywords are there. Last time what I did wrong was I put an hobby which was not exactly a hobby.
What is a hobby? I
had put like learning language scripts. I had read it somewhere but not very thoroughly. But this time I had written that I like watching Discovery. And I really like watching Discovery so much. So it
was a genuine hobby.
This was a very genuine hobby, and there were questions, it comes on your face that
that passion is reflected.
That passion is reflected. Like they also get interested. They also want to know more. So I think this was and whatever irrelevant things were there, like I mentioned sports like volleyball and swimming, which yes I used to do, but not that
very
much.
Regularly.
Yes, so in the end it was lot of hectic things, because interview, while filling DAF for the first time, we are not very aware like how interview is prepared. But once you get in the interview mode, then you come to know that so many things are there which you have to be prepared for one particular keyword. So I removed all the irrelevant keywords which were there. And this time in interview, they didn't ask anything from the DAF. Mostly it was ad hoc
conversation.
Yes, so it went like that.
So how did you keep yourself motivated across the preparation?
For that, I would say that people should take a very conscious decision of entering into civil services. I had done 2 years work before coming to civil services, and I was pretty sure that I don't want to do the corporate job anymore. Either it was civil services or it was my family business, and there was nothing. So I was pretty motivated and confident that I was not in double minds, which generally people are, that they have to come here or go somewhere else. So that aspect was missing, so it kept me motivated. And secondly, I planned very meticulously. Till now I have my timetable that whatever I did in the past 2 years, I can recall it weekly. So I think planning your work very accurately and then working out your plan. I think
That's the secret.
That's the secret, which it's written in psychology that if you keep your goals realistic, if you keep your goals, time tracked, then it gives you internal motivation. And second thing is managing your stress, for which I used to daily go for an exercise to keep my body warm. I think that helped a lot.
Okay. What was the most interesting experience after the results, after you got rank 24?
I think most interesting was the relief that I don't have to attempt preliminary exams because I was fully prepared with all my books to,
You were ready for the next round.
ready for the next cycle. So that was the biggest relief. And then I came home and, everyone was so happy and celebrating. So that was all.
Any final words for the aspirants?
I think if you believe in bad luck, then just keep trying until you run out of bad luck. And otherwise, I think if you are sufficiently, you have taken a very conscious decision and you work on your mistakes, be flexible. I think we need not be very rigid, be pragmatic. Like people will say, don't use social media at all. I am not of that, I don't think
No
like
extremes.
that. Nothing of extremes. Yes, if social media helps me and I can keep it in limits, I should use it because see, I found my test series on the Telegram. And if I am idealistic that no, I should not do, I will not use social media at all, then probably somehow I would have missed out on the test series and whatever the improvements came. And you can gather a lot of knowledge. So I think just be rational, be pragmatic, and take a very conscious decision of why you are coming into the preparation phase. I think that will help you sustain the entire preparation cycle.
Thank you, Anuraj.
Thank you
so
sir.
much.
Welcome.